Good day, everybody. So Guy here. Today I want us to look at something very important. As I always say, if you come to your charts and you don't know exactly what you're looking for, you are simply gambling. You need to know exactly what you're looking for way before you even open your charts. And that is simple because we have a step-by-step guide. These are the rules that guide us on when to execute and when to sit on our hands. Remember, patience pays. It's not about taking executions each and every day. It's all about taking executions when the opportunity is there. That's how you build your account. Let's talk about the trend day. As I already said, a trend day must violate yesterday's high or low. So let's say prices have been falling on a daily time frame and all of a sudden we get a trend day here, which is now denoted by this candle here. What do you expect the next day? The next day we expect prices to open and head down before coming all the way up to close way too high. This is normal candle behavior. Why do they behave like this? Simply because people chase moves. So there are people who are going to chase moves mostly during the US session. Hence why when they open the next day, mostly they're going to come down to close all those who chase the move. Then they will continue up, okay? When we look at how a trend day should be, as I've already explained, let's say we get a day like this, and let's just say this is a Friday, right? One thing you're gonna realize is we're gonna have a high over here and we're gonna have a low over here, and then the next day, let's say prices proceed. Number one, note that now they violate the high of the previous day. They violate the high and let's say they go all the way up and come and close here. So this is what we call a trend day. Why? Because they violated the high of the previous day. Sometimes they'll violate it, come back and close inside. At least count the hourly candles. If they give you 2 or more hourly candles that closes above the high of the previous day, then it still qualifies to be a trend day. So when we get a day like this, the next day is the day when we are looking for the opportunity. So whenever you're analyzing, I told you, analyze in the evening. When you analyze, you only select pairs that have a trend day. If it's 2 pairs, it's enough. Those are the pairs you'll be observing the following day. The following day, what do we expect? We expect prices to come down and then give us an opportunity to the top. So this is the buy low that we are anticipating. This is the buy low we are anticipating. We do our analysis on an hourly time frame. So this is USD CAD. We are doing our analysis on an hourly time frame. If you look at this day over here became a trend day to the downside. However, there's something I'm going to share with you as we go forward. This was a trend day to the downside. This was a trend day to the downside. I want to share with you something very important here as we go forward. This day closed as a trend day to the upside. So when it closes as a trend day to the upside, one thing you're going to realize is we have 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, 1 hour candles that close above. 2 or more qualifies to be a trend day for simplicity, because simplicity is key. So we know we have the high. What are we looking for the following day? We are looking for an opportunity to the downside, and then we will take it in line with the previous day's trend. So this is a continuation. This is what we call a continuation, and this is what we call a trend day. Not every day is going to be a trend day. Hence, you are not going to be executing every day, because not every day is going to give you a trend day. When you're analyzing, if you find something like this, you mark it as a trend day. There's something very important I want to share with you, and please, this is very important and never forget this. Things like JPY, Great Britain pound, things like the euro, pairs with this usually move in London session, and pairs with AUD and pairs with JPY, again, they can move in Asia. And everything that has the dollar obviously is going to move during the New York. USD, things like gold, but gold can move anytime. But anything that has to do with indices and the dollar will obviously move during the New York. This is the times when you are actually supposed to be looking for the opportunities. If it's GJ, look for the opportunity during the London session. That's when you're going to get the opportunity. When we get a trend day, we are looking for something like this so that we can take it all the way back to the top. Some days they won't give you this at all. Some days they will just and go up. Some days they will do something like this. One thing you should pay close attention to when it comes to this kind of a behavior is this changes everything. This is going to be the closing price. They are just playing in between the high and the closing price. When something like this happens, I want you to be able to draw like a rectangle. Be patient. Wait for them to break into one side. When things are like this, the dynamics have changed. And when the dynamics changes, I know the mindset says this is a trend day. We need to go up, up, up. No, no, no. When things are like this, now this else is a 50-50. However, you can still come up or out as a winner. What you need to do now, just set your alerts here and set your alerts here. If they break to the downside, do nothing. Wait for them to pull back and then break out down with a super big candle. This is gonna mean now they are giving you a sell high opportunity. They are going down. If they come and trigger this one up here, you just pay close attention, you do nothing. Why? Because at this point here, they're gonna be on the high. They are gonna be on the high. Once they break the high, we want to see, is it gonna hold? How do we know if it's gonna hold? It's gonna pull back, and that's when they're gonna give you a super big candle. This now confirms that they're going up. Pay close attention to days when they do something like this. Days when they start holding the level. Instead of going down, they hold the level. Instead of shooting up straight, they hold the level. There are gonna be many days like this. Please pay close attention to days like this. GJ yesterday, and we go to a 15-minute time frame. This is where the high is. This is where the consolidation is. In other words, they are consolidating between the closing price and the high. However, they are squeezing the consolidation. This is very important because they are going to break into one side. Set your alerts down, set your alerts up. Let them break out. To know if the high is holding when they give you something like this, let them come and bounce on the high, or at least come and bounce on the 21st EMA. This is very, very, very important. I allowed them to go, and then they bounce, and that's when they gave an engulfing candle. You see, they gave this 3 candle, this candle going down the inside one, and the big candle in, and this is where I took it, and the stops were below the closing price because this closing price is holding. So you must understand the importance of the high, the closing price, and the importance of the low. When they do something like this, hold a level and break into one side, just be patient. Some days they'll go. If they go, it's fine. You need to be sure first because they can still give you a fake breakout. 2 is the pullback, and as you can see here, I say to key levels. Let me show you the key levels quite quick. The key levels, if you look at this, you will see 3 key levels before we even go to a smaller time. To see more key levels, you have to switch to a 15 or a 5-minute time frame. But still on a 1-hour time frame, this is where we got the trend. Look at this. The high of this day is an important key level. The closing price, the low of this day is an important key level. So to see other key levels, you might have to switch to a smaller time frame, because when you switch to a smaller time frame, now you're gonna use support and resistance. Somebody once said this is hard. No, this is not hard because this is simply where they bounced. You're gonna see this without exerting any effort. So this is where they bounced. This is where they bounced. As you can see, they came, bounced here, and they kept bouncing here. This is an important key level. If they pass it, here is another key level. If they pass this one, here is another key level. This one here, but we also have the closing price here. We can project it through because it also plays a role. So this is another key level. They pass this one, they are gonna come to this one. Ours is just to observe their behavior when they come to these key levels. This is a key level over here because they came and bounced on it. So our job is to observe what are they doing once they get to these key levels. In reality, these things are supposed to be areas, but we use lines for simplicity. If they surpass this one and keep going down, the next one is gonna be down here because you can see this is where they bounced. If they pass this one, gonna have this one here, which is the closing price of this previous day here. And if they surpass this one, obviously they'll be coming now to the low. Once they break the low, everything is now invalidated. I repeat, once they break this low, it's invalidated. So our job is so simple. We are looking at these things at the time at which they move, and our job is just to observe what are they doing once they come to these areas. If they pass, we're gonna be paying close attention to the next area. If they pass, we're gonna be paying attention to the next area. So that is all we do. And if somebody says they can't wait, they can't be patient, then obviously this is not for you, because we all understand that this is something we have to sit and wait for. So this is an industry where it involves a lot of sitting down and a lot of observations. Explain it on a chart, because some people want it explained on a chart. It's very easy. Remember, on a daily time frame, we are looking for this drop here, right? So that we take it up. So this must be a key level. However, on a bigger time frame, you won't be able to see this. Hence why I said switch down to a smaller one, a 15 or a 5. So let's say here, this day they did something like this. So let's say now this is the high and this is the low. We said we are looking for a pullback to key levels. So where are our key levels? This is a key level. You can see they came and bounced. This is another key level. They came and bounced. This is another one over here. Once they come and violate this area, which is the low, all these things are invalidated. We know that we cancel this one. There's nothing we're going to do on it on the day. You have two jobs. Job number one is to analyze every night. Job number two is actually to observe the following day. The following day, you observe to see if your setup is still complying or if your setup is still valid. Let's say this is our trend day. So we are looking for, and if they give us this, now we are looking for a pattern, a break, and a pullback. So this is what we're going to take without a doubt. But some days they will just go straight up. So this means when you come, it failed. Let's say on the day you are analyzing and looking for a trend day, you got 4 trend days. And then out of the 4, 2 just did something like this, because this is quite common where they just shoot up immediately during the Asian session. That means you don't have a setup. Now you are left with 2. Out of this 2, one might just keep going down, violate the low and do something like this. This one failed. The moment it violates the low, it failed. So now you might just be left with 1. Point I'm trying to bring to you is you're not always gonna get executions every day. There will be many days where you don't have anything to do. Just analyze and look at them. When they fail and you realize you don't have anything to do, close your charts. You don't want to be wasting your capital on things that you don't understand. You only want to risk when you understand what is being presented to you. So let's say out of 4, now you only got 1. This is the one you took. You won it. Let's say this happened on a Wednesday or on a Tuesday. Monday you got nothing. You got it on a Tuesday. On a Thursday you might not get anything, and you might get a beautiful one on Friday. Or else you might get it on a Tuesday and get it on a Thursday. Friday you get nothing. So it's not about always execution. If you look at GPUSD, you realize we didn't really get a trend day because we only had roughly 1 candle that closed above the high of the previous day. And remember, we said we are looking for 2 or more 1-hour candles that closes above the previous day's high. So this day is not a trend day. It doesn't qualify. Here it doesn't even qualify, because even here you can see it's only 1 and the next one closes inside the low. This is not a trend day. But this day we got 1 here and we got another one here, and we also got a third one. So we have 3 candles that closed above the closing price of the previous day. This qualifies to be a trend day. When we are analyzing in the evening, we will mark it. We had nothing to do all these days. Hence I'm saying it's not about executing every day. You only execute when you have an opportunity. The following day, just by looking at it, we will realize that we have the high, which is an important level, more especially for our targets. We have the closing price, and we have this resistance down here, which again is a very important level. Before we even switch to a 15-minute time, when we come to a 15-minute time frame, our job is now to observe what do they do when they come to the levels. This is a very important key level. This is where they gave support, bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. So this is an important level. Had they gone down, we would have known that our next level was roughly somewhere here. So this one was almost near the low. So if they violated this one, obviously they were going to violate the low. And once they violate the low, it's invalidated. Right now, we saw that they came to this level and started bouncing on it. And this level has a high over here. Remember, we spoke about structure, where we explained something like this. If prices are actually going down and they are going down like this, because this is how they move, and all of a sudden they do something like this, obviously we know this is a break-in structure. Why? They broke this high. When they are going down, they are not supposed to break this down. So when they break this one, it could be a fake breakout. Yes, we now wait for them to pull back to see if they now come and break the low here like this. If they now come and break the low, obviously this is still a continuation, nothing, they're still going down. However, if they don't break this low over here and they give us a big candle going up, obviously this is something we're gonna take, right? Because this is a shoulder, head and shoulder. So this is a case whereby they give you something like a head and shoulder, but you see it mostly when they break structure. So when we are looking at this, so look at this here, what do? They come and they violate this area here. Do we take it? No, we want to get a pullback, because this can be a fake breakout whereby they can actually end up going down. We want to be sure first. What do? They come down, and eventually they give us the engulfing we are looking for after a break in structure. This is a small win, but it is a beautiful win. Ethereum, you will realize that okay, they were consolidating. Yes, they gave us a trend day here. However, it failed because they kept going up and up and up until they gave us another clean one here. They broke this level over here. What do you expect the next day? We expect them to pull back to a key level. Let's look at our key levels before we even go to a 15-minute time frame. We have this level level over here, which was the low of this day here. It is an important key level. When we go down to a 15-minute time frame, we are trying to see our key levels. Again, you will realize that we had a key level here. This is supposed to be an area, hence we can combine this one and this one. They came to this one, and that's where they started playing and playing and playing. If you go to a smaller time frame, let's say a 5-minute time frame, that's when you're gonna actually see what really happened. All right, here's the day. When you come to this day here, you realize we got a half Batman. We already know this patterns, half Batman. For those who have a playbook, I gave you more than 6 half Batman patterns, and you know them. For those who don't have it, you can do a simple Google search, and eventually what do? They come and break out with a big candle. We got a triangle which broke out, they pull back, they fell. Comfortable with taking this one on this triangle, hence why I wanted to use the half Batman as well. And when they collapsed with this big candle, that's where I took it. They gave something called all eyes on me. For those who have been following this channel for a long time, you already know there's something I call all eyes on me, and this is when they come and bounce and they try to pull back, but they eventually fail. So you can see this is where they broke out with a super big candle. So this is where I took it. However, because this one doesn't have a pullback, you could have waited again for a second pattern, of which they ended up giving it at an important level before collapsing. But for me, I took it here because this is what I understand. When they give me a super big candle, I know their job is done, and mostly this candle must be inside the 21 EMA. And as you can see, they had already bounced on the EMA. So this is where they were just going further and further away from the EMA. So this is again the reason why I took it even before they gave a retest, because we already got a retest back into the EMA, and this was a huge collapse. They gave an opportunity to scale in, but I didn't take this one. And then another one that I took today, this one they gave a clear trend day. And if you look at these things, mostly this week they were just consolidating. They didn't give much opportunities. Hence I say it's not always about taking. No, you only take when you have something that is so clear. So you can see they gave us a beautiful trend day yesterday, and eventually they pulled all the way back to where? Obviously to this key level over here. This is an important key level. So I told you this is usually an area, so they might come and hit it or pass it a little bit. It doesn't matter. The most important thing to understand is that it's an important key level. When you go to a 15-minute time frame, you can still see this was an area. So this is where they started pulling back, and eventually they gave a beautiful triangle here, which is my favorite pattern. Please master these patterns. And then they broke out with a super big candle. So this is the one I took, guys. It's just too good. It's not about the size of the move, it's about the quality of the move. Already we're inside the EMA, and they just go with a super big candle. When they break out with a super big candle, I call this evidence candle. For those with the playbook, you already know I explained everything about the evidence candle in the middle one, where we talk about indices. That's where I explained a lot about the evidence candle. But guys, I have a lot of videos on these topics, okay? You can just go and watch all the videos that I have on these different topics.